Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. If this is your first time seeing my face, I am Jaleesa, the alien in the room, and today's video is kind of like a get ready with me, first impressions, review, and also a little bit of a rant. I'm not sure what is going on in this video, but I'm going to be doing my makeup, and while that plays, I'll be ranting about beauty standards, the beauty industry, and sharing all my thoughts about that topic. I don't know what this is, I really don't, but I want to share these thoughts with you because they've been on my mind as of lately, and I feel like it's something that I want to address and I want to share, and maybe you guys can relate a little bit too. I'm going to be trying out some new Fenty Beauty products. I actually never tried the foundation before. I was very worried about it. I have oily skin and I have dark spots, so if you didn't know, I suffer from hyperpigmentation. You're going to see my bare face in this video. I'm trying out the concealers as well and the setting powder, but also I wanted to share my opinions on the beauty industry, on beauty standards, and on some scandals that have been going on lately, like back in 2018 and lately now. So go ahead and stay tuned for the rest of this video. The main question I've been asking myself lately is my beauty defined by another race? So hear me out, okay? Hear me out. Let's talk about it. I feel like there's a lot that I want to get through. And I applaud Fenty Beauty for changing the beauty standards in the makeup industry. We see girls on these promotional commercials and advertisements that look black, or that even look different than what the Instagram baddies and what you see often being praised on social media. The models are all unique, they're all different, they're all beautiful, and Rihanna did such a great job. Rihanna and her team did such a great job of making sure that their brand was so inclusive. So what better way to talk about beauty while trying on some Fenty Beauty products? So back in 2018 now, I think this happened around October or September, something like that. There was the blackfishing scandal, or niggerfishing, whatever you want to call it. That was when popular influencers and social media stars were being called out for actually using blackface. It was predominantly white people. I think a couple, maybe one Spanish girl. I was always a little bit reluctant to try this just because I knew I had oily skin and I had such dark marks, and I felt like you had to put on a lot of this just to get the coverage that I would need. I was like, there's no way that this gives me the full coverage I want compared to like MAC, Studio Fix, or even like Kat Von D tattoo foundation. That's the one I usually stick to because I need full coverage. But it was predominantly white people that were tanning their skin to look a darker color. They were wearing our hairstyles, you know, they were trying to get curly afros or wearing braids or dreads even. They were getting applauded for how they looked on social media, and it was because people were following them because they were under the assumption that they were black. Is it blending? Or did it just disappear? Like, what happened there? No, but it looks blended on camera. This feels like I'm not wearing anything. That's amazing. And these girls were taking opportunities from brands and from people who were trying to get their diversity quota, trying to check off, oh, the fact, oh yeah, I got diversity in my campaign. I have this one black girl. When it turns out she wasn't black at all. Becky was white. She was not black at all. One of them never even made it clear that she wasn't black. She just said that she never said she was, but most people were following because they thought you were. It's as if mixed is seen as being better than just pure black, you know, like pure black features. And we were praising these girls on social media because they had the European features mixed in with a black skin tone, and that's why those girls were getting those campaigns and getting those followers, because people were idolizing them. That's what it is. It goes back to the brown paper bag. It goes back to all of that. And it's no secret that campaigns, advertisements, commercials, companies in general, they'll most likely pick the black girl with certain European features before they pick a black girl with African features. They'll pick the girl with like 3A, 3B, 3C here, lighter skin complexion, the girl that almost looks a little bit mixed. Those are the girls that get casted for TV shows and commercials and such, because that's the black that America finds acceptable. Everybody thinks it's cool to be black, but nobody actually wants to be black. They just want to steal black features, popular ones, and put it on themselves, and then take away opportunities from the 100% black, the ones that look like me and look like possibly you, and get away with it. We're praising people that don't look anything like us. A lot of the times these girls, when they put like black features on them, they look unreal almost. They almost kind of look like aliens, how perfect they are. Before social media, I would have never known that girls like that exist. And I think girls like that don't actually exist in real life unless, or don't naturally exist in real life. They have to get plastic surgery to look so unreal. Okay, and now to try the concealers. I have $3.90 and $4.50. $3.90 to highlight, $4.50 for my contour. Let's go. Let's open this bad boy. I'm basically going to rip into the packaging just because I'm like too anxious to try these things. Oh God. Yep. Oh my God. It's a mess. I want to compare this consistency to NARS Creamy Radiant because that's the one that I would use. Wow. Wow. Okay. I like this. It's so easy to spread. Like NARS, I feel like NARS is thicker. This looks really orange, right? Is it orange? Okay, but I feel like NARS is thicker than this, but this still feels like it's covering. Like it's thick in a good way. It's like thick and watery at the same time. So I want you to ask yourself, is your beauty defined by another race? Like, are you following girls that look nothing like you? Like nothing like you, and that you could possibly never look like without extreme major changes? And why are you following them? If it's a healthy follow, like you just enjoy their lifestyle or you enjoy the content that they're putting out, fine. But if it's an unhealthy, like, oh, she's so pretty, I wish that I could look more like her, then that's not healthy. You should probably unfollow. You should not even probably, you should definitely unfollow, because that's not going to be good for your mental health, and it's not good for my mental health either. I made sure to cut out those things. And even unfollowing might not be enough, because Instagram has this thing where it likes to show you the likes of your friends in your explore page. Like it'll show you what your friends have liked, and maybe that's okay for them to follow those girls, but it might not be okay for you. So you might need to block the person completely so that you never see them on your explore page or on your feed. Nah, Ree, you got some special technicians in the back, okay? There are some special people in the lab. What is this? It's that serious, because I don't want to go through life thinking that I'll never be beautiful because I'll never be another race. And I don't want you to go through life thinking that way either. It's not healthy. It's not right. Black is still beautiful. There's so many black. Have you noticed? Okay, Rihanna, like the sexiest woman alive, right? And Beyonce, people love Beyonce. They don't look like the girls that are being praised on social media. They look black. But the ones that are on social media that are being praised are the ones that look racially ambiguous. So how come we can allow Beyonce and Rihanna that courtesy, but we can't allow it to like everyday people? Why are we overly praising them instead of praising our own sisters? You know, I feel like with the lights right now, it doesn't seem that dark, but I know in Sephora it seemed dark as hell. And then in 2019, we had the scandal, if you want to call them even scandals. It was Cyn Santana's comment that black men cater to Latina women more so than they cater to black women. And a lot of people were up in arms about it. I'm not sure if they were up in arms because they were upset that she said it, or because they felt like it wasn't true. But in my opinion, it is very true. You know, you don't want to say that all, but if it applies to you, then it applies. We have such a strong hatred towards our skin and our features that a lot of the times the weaker of the bunch will praise those that don't look like them. That's why we see football players and basketball players, and we always get upset about it, but they're always with like white women, or they're with women of another race, because they feel like having a woman of another race is a trophy in a sense. So I understood exactly what Cyn Santana was saying, like that they do that. Okay, maybe it's just like a subtle contour. We gonna darken it up with powder. I go back and forth on my policy of baking. Some days I bake, some days I don't. They know that they have like a superiority to Black women. They know that our men want them. So they have a cockiness about it. I feel like not what irritated me, but it was just like, this bitch. Most people wouldn't have the balls to actually say it out loud. Like, you know it, but you keep it internally. But now that she said it out loud, I'm glad that we can address it. I felt like it was absolutely correct.
Race. Yes, I am Dominican. That's all. I'm not mixed. I'm not mixed with nothing. No. Here's the thing about people when it comes to my race. When I say I'm Dominican, they try to say I'm Black too. I am not Black, honey. I'm not Black, I'm just Dominican. Simple Dominican, Dominicana, whatever you want to call it, just Dominican, I am not mixed. If I was mixed, bro, my parents, either one of them would be so-called Black, that you want to call it, I'm Black. One of them will be Black, one of them will be Dominican. Boom, I'm Black and Dominican. No, shorty. What people be doing is they try to get like information from the back time, the old days, and try to say Dominicans came from this piece of shit, so that makes you Black and that makes you this. Honey, baby girl, no, like what are you saying? Like that should be getting me so tight. Like, yo, chill on some real shit, like, for real.
We could get a little bit personal and deep for a moment. I probably feel this way because of my own experiences, my own life experience. It's funny, I came to this conclusion 2 years ago. I was just sitting around, I guess, you know, reflecting on myself, and I realized that I guess some childhood trauma, if you want to call it that, things that I went through growing up have shaped me to have this opinion of myself as less than another race. You know, it's funny, I never thought I had daddy issues. I always assumed that daddy issues meant that you didn't have a present father in your life. My dad was actually a cheater. He cheated on my mom plenty of times. Too many times, actually. Because of his cheating ways, that I've internalized it to mean that I'm actually not good enough as well, or that I'm not pretty enough as well. Okay, so I say this because I look exactly like my mother. I look like her to the T. And growing up, I would always see my mom and dad in relationship issues because my dad was constantly cheating on my mom. And it turns out the women that he was cheating on her were from another race. Of course. They were mostly Spanish women or Latina women. Some of them were Trini Indian women. I've internalized it to that I would never be enough and I would never be pretty enough because I don't look like them, and I technically can never look like them unless I do some plastic surgery. I can get closer to looking more racially ambiguous, but it might not work out like that for me. It's time to try this, the all over setting powder. Oh God. I don't know, this powder seems like it's gonna make a mess because it's coming out everywhere. Wow. Okay, the racially ambiguous or the mixed girl will get a lot further, or will get a lot more praise than the Black girl, the girl that you can tell right away that that girl's Black. It feels like you're praised for having just one drop of Black, but if you're fully Black, if the whole cup is Black, then it's a no-no. Oh, that's not a good feeling. That's not a good feeling at all. Yo, did I even highlight? Like, what's going on? I don't see anything. I probably have to play with this more. I don't know. You know, I'm not a makeup artist. Is there still dimension? I think it brought me back to a flat face. I don't know if it really gave me my dimension back. And it's not even just the beauty industry or the beauty world or social world that makes me feel inadequate or saying that black is inadequate, but it's also the professional world as well. I came across a situation in school, and it's a professional setting because I am in law school, but I noticed that a lot of the times the professors would get the black students mixed up. They would often confuse all the black students in the class. They can get every single white girl correct, or every other white student in the Jewish student, white student in the class correct. But when it came to black girls, it just seems like they felt like we all looked the same. And it's funny because I'm like, how do y'all think we all look the same? Some of us are different skin tones, different hair. Like everyone has a difference. I can tell almost every single race apart. So how come they can't tell ours? Makes no sense. Now I'm going to try out the Fenty Beauty Trophy Wife. I bought this when it first came out. I actually never dipped my fingers into it, so that's why it looks brand spanking new. When I saw people reviewing it, I was like, oh, okay, that's real bright. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the inner corner and see if I like it. Yep. Oh yeah. I like it. Oh wow. Ooh. Yes, girl. Have you ever had a moment where you feel like you've been passed up for an opportunity just because you're black? If you have, then welcome to the club. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there who have been passed up just for the fact that they were black. They were possibly more qualified, but just because they were black and had a certain look or had a certain name, that it wasn't good enough to get the job. So this happened to me recently. I've had a professor talk about my hair a lot. This professor constantly makes comments about my hairstyles, about how I switch it up. There goes Jaleesa, looking different each time I see her. Like, I'm black, we have protective styles, we have different hairstyles. And I know in the professional world, a lot of times people feel like they try to maintain one hairstyle for like a month or 2 months before they feel they can switch, because they want to avoid all the questions from white people or from another race about, oh, how did you do that to your hair? So I would actually, you know, take a month or 6 weeks or so to just keep one hairstyle before I change it. And the professor would still make a comment like, oh, there goes Jaleesa with a different hairstyle every time I see her. And she made another comment one time. She didn't tell me this specifically, but she was telling the class that they shouldn't wear their hair in a way that's wild and distracting. And she was talking about me because I was the only black student with natural hair. Like, there's only me that she could be referring to. And that made me feel really shitty. Like, I would often try different wigs or different hairstyles to look more tame, to look more European, just to appease her, because I felt like she was going to grade me negatively or see me negatively because my hairstyles were too black. Then it came to the moment that I actually have to work one-on-one with her. Don't want to give too many details, but I have to work one-on-one with her, and I feel like she passed me up for an opportunity that only I was qualified for. There was no one else that was qualified for it. There was no one else that knew how she ran her class or how she runs her clinic. There was no one else that knows that information, and she passed me up for it. And I felt, well, maybe she was just trying to help the other person. But a part of me felt like, no, it was because she would make comments about my hair all the time. Keep in mind, none of this is professional. In a professional setting, this should never happen. Never have happened. But she would make comments about other people's dress, and I'm sure she probably didn't like the way that I dress, and she probably didn't like the way that I wear my hair. And I feel like I got passed up for the opportunity because of that. And I did have a little bit of a cry because it felt like I was not going to be accepted into the professional world for just being me. Like, it's a difference if I was wearing my pink hair that I usually wear. That's a little bit extreme for a traditional professional environment. But just wearing my natural hair the way that it grows out of my scalp, that shouldn't be an issue. This wild and untamed, where? Does it look untamed? Like, maybe people feel like it's wild just because it looks like a lion mane. Like, I have a lot of hair. I can't apologize for that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you were able to take away something from it. And if you have any comments or anything you would like to say, please make sure you leave a comment down below, because I would love to have the discussion with you. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Share my videos, please. Help me get to 2,000 subscribers, and I'm trying to get to monetization land. I'm halfway there. I'm halfway there in the views. So if you can share these videos, it will mean a lot to me. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye. Should I start doing mukbangs? I feel like mukbangs would come more naturally to me than beauty videos, because I like eating. You want to see what I'm eating? Can you see?